crafters, this is Lana with Lana Design, and welcome to another episode of Unexpected Color Combination series. This is episode 4, and today we're playing with coral and slate gray. This video is also a part of a little Instagram video hub that is organized by ALTENEW, and I suggest you go and visit my Instagram page for more info and for a chance to win a card from ALTENEW. To enter for a giveaway, please make sure to follow along the hub, like and follow the creator, and leave a short message on each hub. ALTENEW will be announcing their winners on their website by the end of the month, so make sure to check if you won. The theme of the hop is called Pretty Peonies, and as today's inspiration, I'm using this massive stamp set called Billowing Peonies, and this set comes with coordinating dies and layering stencils, which I will be using later on to color my image. For the next step, I chose embossing. I haven't embossed in a very long time, and embossing my image will definitely pair great with stenciling. It will give it more defined and bold lines. To better emboss this image, I'm using a Big Memory Misty, or as I like to call it, Big Mama Misty. This is a 12 by 12 stamping platform, and it is made for all of you scrapbookers out there. To make sure your image is perfectly embossed, there are a few steps you need to follow. First, turn on the heat gun beforehand to make sure it's nice and hot. Second, make sure your paper is static free by applying some baby powder all over it. And lastly, keep the heat gun moving at all times. Do not hold the heat gun on one spot for too long. Otherwise, you will overmelt the embossing powder, and you can also warp the paper or even burn it. Ask me how I know this. And please allow it to cool down for a few seconds before you touch it. And now we stencil. For the flowers, I am starting off with Coral Bliss. I'm going to move from the outside of the flowers towards the inside with the circular motion. You want to take your time when it comes to stenciling, especially when it comes to big spaces like this. You don't want to rush. You want to add your pigments gradually. I will use this ink for the first 2 layers, and then I'm going to move to coral red. This is a more intense color, and this color is also part of the new inks from ALTENEW called Fresh Inks. They're also dye inks, but this collection of inks is so much more vibrant. That is why I'm going to use it as additional color to add more interest to my flowers. When it comes to stenciling, I forgot to mention that the mat that I am using to stencil on is a 9 by 12 sticky mat from ALTENEW, and it is perfect for stenciling. With this mat, you don't need to use any tapes to hold your paper and stencils in place. This mat does it for you and makes stenciling so much more enjoyable. Now, one tip that I would like to give you when it comes to stenciling is to position your either stamped image or in my case here, die cut image as it is shown on the instructions. That way, it's going to be much easier to layer the stencils. You can see it much better and there's no guessing. At least that is what I like to do, and it truly makes stenciling much faster. Now, I am not sure how I lost my footage here, and I truly apologize for this. I looked everywhere, I just couldn't find it. It could be that I actually didn't record part of my stenciling, but all I did, again, is just follow the layering guide and just keep adding my inks. Some places are going to have that more intense color. Some of them are going to have brighter color. And as I move towards the inside of the flower, that's where you are going to have the more intense look. Also, pay attention where your petals are overlapping. That way you can add more intense inks as a shade. Now, when it comes to the leaves, I used pure graphite, industrial diamond, and silver stone. Silver stone is the lightest gray, so I started off with silver stone, then I moved to industrial diamond, and I finished it off with pure graphite. Now, this ink is very dark and very intense, so use it sparingly. And that's it. Stenciling is done. And to clean the stencils, I am using a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and that is about it. You can also clean it with some warm water and dish soap. I decided to go with the scrapbook layout this time. So to create my sentiment, I'm using this phenomenal floral alphabet stamp and die set from ALTENEW. I am going to spell Joyful Journeys, and first I'm going to stamp it on some scrap paper. This is a perfect way to use up all your scraps of paper. I am using Nina 110 pound cardstock. This is Classic Crest Solar White. And to stamp, I am using Dark Night dye inks from ALTENEW. And later on, I am going to color all these letters with coral red. And here comes everybody's favorite part, and those are wax seals. I have two melting pots, so to speak. These are warmers for your wax, and I'm using this awesome charcoal wax as well as this cool iridescent wax where I'm going to actually mix with some pastels. I picked yellow, pink, and orange. I think this is how I am gonna get that coral look that I am searching. So I am going to melt a little bit of these pastels into my wax. And this is normally how I would create my custom color wax. I have several videos on how to change your wax color. I suggest you take a look, and I will also leave some down below so you can check it out if you are interested. Now I am going to wait for this wax to melt, and we are going to create some inlays. And I'm going to create some wax seal inlays. My wax seals, I'm using this awesome stamp from ALTENEW. Now, this wax seal stamp is no longer available. For some reason, ALTENEW decided to discontinue their wax seal stamps. I really don't know the reason why, but unfortunately, they are no longer available. I am just simply pouring that charcoal wax on the silicone mat here that I use only for wax sealing. And what I am interested in creating right now is just a flower. I am going to carve this flower with precision scissors, and once my flower is cut, I'm going to put it back into the stamp and then stamp with that beautiful wax and create an inlay with two-color wax. The key to creating successful wax seal inlay is to make sure that your stamp is a little bit warmer to the touch. Then simply put the cut piece of wax back in the stamp and press firmly. And test to see if it's stuck to the stamp before pouring another color wax on the silicone surface. Then simply stamp and wait for the wax seal to set. The easiest way to know that your seal is ready is when the wax on the sides becomes dull or loses its shine a little bit. You can gently touch it, and if it's cooled down, feel free to peel the stamp off, and you will end up with a beautiful multicolor wax seal. And here comes the assembly. To attach the letters to the cardstock, I'm using a laser square tool by We Are Makers. And I use this tool quite often for lining up the die cuts. This tool is very helpful when you're doing scrapbooking, but you can use it for any crafting project where you need to line up your elements. Or if you are a calligrapher, you will definitely find this tool helpful. You can also use this tool for addressing your letters, and it is a very easy tool to use. This is a battery-operated tool, so there's no cords or cables that you have to carry with you. And just by moving the little arrow up or down or left or right and positioning it exactly where you want, you get to have this beautiful square. After my sentiment was done, everything else somehow fell into place. I put the beautiful peonies right in the corner, added my photos, and of course embellished it with some wax seals. And that was it. The project was done. Yes, I know that this could be a little bit more involved project than many, but this project is something that is going to last me for a very long time. There's a lot of cool techniques and a lot of cool elements that we created. If you find this video helpful and inspirational, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And make sure to click on that little bell so you know when new videos are uploaded. Thank you so much for coming, showing your support. It truly means a lot. Make sure to follow the hop. I will leave the link down below. And good luck winning some prizes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am always happy to interact with my viewers. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye-bye.